The day we've been waiting for has finally arrived. Marvel and DC's first crossover in 20 plus years has released, and it is Deadpool Batman #1. 40 plus pages of the thing that we read comics for.
Interesting.
Yes. Rejoice. This is a huge moment for comic book fans. I can't even believe I'm holding it in my hands. It feels very weird. Yes, Cole, I know. Trust me, I know. It feels very weird, but it is real. I can't wait to talk about it. Here to have the conversation about that and the books I'm going to tell you about in just a moment are, of course, Marco,
Celsius!
Tyler,
Hi, I got a beer. And I poured it horribly. Look at that. That's half head right there.
Oof,
Jeez.
that's not great.
I was too busy producing the show. That was a bad pour.
and I'm Sean. Thank you guys for being here. Whether you are live or in the future, smash that like button. We are going to be
Smash.
talking about 6 big books this week. We've got the aforementioned Deadpool Batman
Wow.
#1
In the flesh.
in the flesh. Did you? I mean, it's not released digitally, right? So, how'd you read it?
I didn't get to it. I only read digitally. Just kidding. I went out and I got myself the Batgirl,
ooh.
Peach Momoko, Electra variant.
That's rad.
The only one I got though. I'm not going crazy. I don't buy physical. I'm only gonna get a single one. Right, buddy?
Ultimates #16, Fantastic Four #3, Amazing Spider-Man #12, Invincible Battle Beast #5, and New Gods #10. So we've got a lot to get into. Let's waste no time and get into the big one, Deadpool Batman #1. We're gonna go. I mean, we're gonna have an overall conversation about the book, but the main story is Zeb Wells with Greg Capullo on the pencils, inks by Tim Townsend, Alex Sinclair on the colors, letters by Clayton Cowles. It starts off like a lot of Batman stories should have. Batman, or Bruce rather, just looking at a computer in his robe, and through the window is not a bat, but a Deadpool. And the two engage in a lot of back and forth, and it's, for me, just even seeing those two on the same page is very weird. It's just like, wow, that's crazy. Like it doesn't even seem right. But the more you get into it, and Batman gets in costume, and they have this adventure that involves the Joker doing a typical Joker scheme, wanting to venomize Gotham. But Deadpool gets venomized, and there's all sorts of hijinks and stuff in the Batcave, and it's a very fluff story. But I had a great time with it. Actually, it's not. If it was just this story, I might speak differently about the book. But I had a solid time with it.
I at least for the first story, I felt like was the weakest for me. I found myself kind of like feeling, all right, let's get to a point where we get something maybe a little more dense. And not that I'm expecting that, but I wanted a bit more heart. I think because there was a very straightforward, we're gonna try to figure out who or where the Joker is. We're going to have Deadpool betray, and it didn't grip me the way that some of the other moments here did.
I'll be real with you guys. I was stuck on the colors. Alex Sinclair was coloring this, who I believe typically does Jim Lee. Because Capullo, we know what happened to his colorist. So it was weird seeing this colorist on Capullo. It felt different to me, and it was annoying me. And then Deadpool started talking. I got even more annoyed. Yeah, I didn't care for this story. I was not a fan about this. I like Zeb Wells, but the whole Joker's gonna poison the water, like ChatGPT would have come up with that as the premise, because that's the first one you go to when you're telling a Batman story. It's gonna be a Joker story, and it's gonna be him poisoning things with Joker venom. It's the most bare bones thing, and it kind of like annoyed me, but also made me more excited to see what Grant's gonna do for the next one. Um, so I didn't like it, and I didn't like the jokiness of Deadpool parallel to Batman. I didn't think they had a flow with the two characters, and it just wasn't a good pairing in my eyes.
I hmm, I feel like the dialogue, like where Deadpool and Batman, he's a straight man, right? So he's gonna just try to no sell a lot of these situations. I thought it had its moments. I definitely didn't think that. I think it was smart to not make Deadpool as over the top. I feel like if anything, he felt a bit more subdued than in some other situations. And I'm thinking of things like, like we didn't get his memes, like the chimichangas. We didn't get the fucking he's flipping pancakes or some shit.
You didn't
Like,
get the Walmart T-shirt version of Deadpool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So at the very like I would have expected that because this is a crossover and this is gonna have eyes on it that maybe exist beyond us, the weekly comic book reader. So I appreciated it for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best story in this book, and I think we all came into this with different levels of expectation for what this was going to be. I did not come into this looking forward to this story,
Hmm.
more just overall what we were going to get. And this got a smile or two out of me, and again, the novelty of seeing Batman and Deadpool share page it ate up a lot of the time for me in terms of like it lasted a long time. And then when that was over, the story was kind of over. Like once I didn't care anymore that they were sharing the page, the story was over, and I had a decent time with it. As far as the art, I really, of course, it's Greg Capullo. Who doesn't love Greg? Um, you notice the colors. If you're a fan of Greg's, you notice that he's colored by someone else. But I actually liked it. I like the colors. I like the way Deadpool looked a lot. I thought the red was really strong. And even though Batman is a little more tan than I'm used to, that still didn't bother me. The only character that I didn't love the visual of was Joker. Um, I didn't,
Oh,
That's
yeah,
that's Capullo's Joker, though. I feel he
it
loves
is.
it is.
the
Like
alt right haircut for Joker.
the
Yeah,
slick back.
Yeah.
yeah. It's not my favorite version of the Joker, and didn't work here for me. But yeah, I had fun. I had a good time with this, and that's all I needed was to have a decent time, and I did.
Yeah, yeah.
There were some bits in it. The bit where Deadpool pretty much summarizes Joker and Batman's relationship in a quick little quip, I thought was pretty fun, and how it's almost romantic in a way. But yeah, I wasn't my favorite out of the stories we got in this book.
Luna, channel member for 11 months, says
Ooh.
cry of the week, crypto number 4, DC is evil. Well,
Oof.
Luna, I did
Oof.
click on the spoiler tagged
On Discord.
image that you shared on the Discord server, and I agree, DC is evil indeed. I'm glad I didn't buy that book.
It's on my to read list, so we'll see. Should I just save it for a good cry? I think when I do a good
Probably.
cry, I'll just save it. Yeah.
It looks heavy, man. And it's one of those things where, for anybody who's familiar with Evan Dorkin's Beasts of Burden, you play, or even Feral more recently, Tony Fleeks, right? Like you play into
Dog's
the,
work.
yeah, dude, the softness of like the innocence of that. I saw that page on the Discord. I was like, ooh, damn, okay. It feels heavier.
We'll get to some cheery crypto in a second, though.
So once you get out of the main story, um, there's a page that shows you all the different stories and all the different creative teams that we're going to get. Next up is Captain America and Wonder Woman. This was by Chip Zdarsky on the words, with Terry Dodson on the pencils and colors, Rachel Dodson on the inks, and Joe Caramagna on the letters. This story is written as if Wonder Woman and Captain America, and really Marvel and DC, have always existed as uh, one unified universe.
Yeah.
And Captain America and Wonder Woman first meet where Cap is about to shoot Hitler, and she stops him from doing that. But the story is told in the margins of that moment where she stops him from doing it, but what you see next are beats of, for example, Cap being pulled out of the ice, and Iron Man's there, and Thor's there, and Wasp is there, but so are Wonder Woman and Superman. Wonder Woman is there when Galactus first appears. Cap and Hulk and Storm are there when Supergirl dies in Crisis on Infinite Earths. So it's a very interesting unification of the universes in a way that was actually, to me, very, very exciting. There's an honesty and a truth in this story about both characters that Chip easily is able to figure out and connect. And then you got Terry Dodson. This dude is one of the best. I just love the way he draws all these characters. Getting to see him draw, some of these Marvel characters is awesome. I loved everything about that story. That was the best overall story I read this week in comics. And that story is why this is my pick of the week.
Oh, get out.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was confused by the story. Was it a romance?
Mm,
It was a friendship.
I was getting a little bit of romance from it, but I've also gotten cues wrong before. I thought that was like, if they existed in the same universe, would Wonder Woman and Cap be romantically involved? And there was part of me that was like, well, yeah, probably. And I almost felt like that was a way of telling it without telling it in this issue. Marco, did you get similar vibes?
I was getting those vibes, but then I there was a moment that I'm trying to remember that I felt like I don't think this is what Chip is trying to get at. I think there's this there is a love, because I feel like that is who Wonder Woman might be for another person, and then for Cap, I think there's a lot of respect there. So I didn't end up getting. I didn't end there. I started to feel that, but I didn't end there.
They had mutual admiration and respect.
Yeah, I think by the end of it, especially as he's like kind of dying, that's what I got more out of it. Is just like, oh, like shit, like we were in the trenches, literally and figuratively together. I can see what you mean, though.
Yeah. And does Hitler kill himself or not? Like, does that still happen in this world?
Yeah. That's
still, he still gets got. I know there was a whole hubbub on the internet about this, and I was like, it's not that bad of an issue. Like, Cap doesn't typically want to kill people. That's always been the case. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I like Terry Dodson art a lot. I think some of the later pages in it, it was a little muddier. I think it's the final page where like you can see like the future legacy characters of this world are kind of behind Wonder Woman as she has the Cap shield. I thought they were a little muddy, but that's kind of modern Dodson, and I don't mean that in a pejorative sense in any way. That page that Sean called out, and I have it on the screen, of like the historical moments of this universe is gorgeous. I thought it was great, even though it looks like Hulk's laughing at Supergirl's body. Yeah, I liked this story. Didn't love it.
I thought this was probably the strongest one of the issue. Yeah, I had ooh. No, this doesn't knock it over to the pick of the week for me. But we need to have a discussion later. So,
Interesting.
but I thought that this was absolutely a standout. This corrected for the previous story in my mind. This made this issue worth it, as did some of the other stories that we'll get into.
And I guess we'll talk about our general feelings of the book once we get through all the mini stories. But yeah, this one's fine.
And I think one of the things that Chip captures really well here, seamlessly, is the fact that, and Sean, you alluded to it earlier, like these characters have always existed in this universe, it made that feel grounded. Where Deadpool and Batman, it very much was we're smacking them together. This was no, this was always how it was. This is the Justice League Avengers or the JSA Avengers. Like I felt that cohesion, and the relationship between Wonder Woman and Cap carried me through that cohesion.
Marco, you say that, and I think about like how I felt with the first story, and like it was fun, but if you told me, hey, what if there was an issue 2 of this? Would you care? I would say no.
Nope.
But of the Wonder Woman Cap, like the world that it created, I would
Yep.
love to see that filled in. And I've never really cared about the idea of seeing those worlds merged before, but the way it's presented here, I would love more. I would love it.
It didn't feel like where there was novelty in the Deadpool Wolverine because the Deadpool Batman, because those are such hugely iconic characters. And to be fair, Cap and Wonder Woman obviously are as well, but the framing of it made it feel like what's the Astro City. Like this could have existed
Yeah.
as an Astro City, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the strength of this portion of that issue.
Totally. The next story is a Jeff Krypto story, written by Kelly Thompson with art and colors and sound effects by Gurihiru and letters by Joe Caramagna. It's called Catch, and that describes exactly what is happening in this story. These two lovable animals are playing a game of catch together that starts at the Fortress of Solitude with both of them just having a blast, until they are called away by their respective owners. It's a very cute story. I mean, there's not a story there really.
Yeah.
It's just them playing catch. But Gurihiru's a great artist, and it's very nice to read, to see, I guess.
I love Gurihiro. I think they can do no wrong in my book. And seeing them do this, this is exactly what I wanted out of it. Like, I didn't expect any dialogue, to be honest. Like, it's just put these two on the page and just make it look good. And I do like the thematic element that I guess Kelly would have put in here of the volleyball net being that like division between these two characters. So they can't really interact. There's something between them, and that's the publishing lines. And I thought that was a cute little nod to the realities these characters live in. And man, I want Gurihiro on a Krypto book. I know the Krypto book right now is really good, but they just do such good work with animals. Actually, for anything, they did the Superman Smash the Clan, which was so fucking good. So more DC work would be great.
That's a great point. I like that as a metaphor. I didn't think of it that way, but you're absolutely right. And then there's that moment where you have the page with the balls bouncing in between both.
Yep.
You're trying to play on both ends, but then
Look at the
bring
ball
it
too, the
together.
colors.
Yeah. I didn't think about
red and
that.
blue,
That's
yeah.
great. That's great.
Yeah, this was cute. I enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't I wasn't blown away. I kind of knew what it would be, and it's exactly what you expect it to be, but that's fine. Good stuff. Next we got the Daredevil Green Arrow story by Kevin Smith with art by Adam Kubert, Frank Martin on the colors, Joe Caramagna again on the letters. And this one is just Daredevil and Green Arrow beating the shit out of goons. That's really it. They're up against the hand. They're kicking their ass. The League of Shadows. They bump butts.
Yeah.
And
Hey, yo.
they definitely did bump booties. And they take down Count Vertigo together.
Great use of Count
Whoa.
Vertigo. Great use. That makes sense as a Daredevil. Put him up against Daredevil. Man, out of all the stories in this was my favorite looking. Put Kubert on a Green Arrow or Daredevil book. Stat. I thought it was gorgeous. I hated every bit of dialogue in it.
What?
They're just calling it. It's like Kevin Smith just went on Wikipedia and looked up all their nicknames and just started to list them all.
That was a little cheeky.
Green Arrow calls Daredevil Kid at one point, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't want cheeky from my Daredevil and Green Arrow, Marco. That's the thing.
They touched butts, dude. Cheeky.
No, it just was so. I hated the way this book sounded, and I'm not coming at it as a Kevin Smith hater. Um, I've avoided most of his comics. I don't really have much of an opinion on Kevin Smith comics. If this is what they're like, I don't want to read one. But man, it's gorgeous. And that's where I was like, it's so 50-50 for me. I thought it looked good, but man, none of them sounded like themselves. Neither of them sounded like themselves in this. It was just rough. Like there's no world where Daredevil calls Hell's Kitchen Clinton.
Oh, I didn't get that.
What?
Clinton.
Oh, that's the new gentrified name for Hell's Kitchen.
Ew.
And like
Like
Ollie calls him out on it, but Daredevil will never say that. You know what I mean? Like,
huh.
I had fun with this story. I don't think I've read a Kevin Smith written comic before. I can't, because I didn't read his Daredevil or Green Arrow, so I can't think of anything he's written that I've read. But I found that the dialogue was really crisp and it flowed well. I super loved this page, this double page spread.
That was cool.
yeah.
You look at it both ways, like sideways
Mhm.
and long ways. That was awesome. I echo what Tyler said about Kubert. He's a tremendous artist. We know that, and seeing him colored by Frank Martin, I think,
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
Yeah. I think Martin colored some of Kubert's Wolverine, right?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I believe that was colorist at the time too, which was gorgeous. That Ben Percy run.
I love the Count Vertigo inclusion. I don't know who that is. I was like, is he a Daredevil or a Green Arrow? But the way his powers affected Daredevil specifically, I assume he's a Green Arrow villain. Yeah, I actually really liked this one. The art was great. The dialogue was crisp and felt okay to me. I had a good time. I did not expect to enjoy this story, but I did.
The one thing I'll give this story that I thought was kind of neat was when Green Arrow and Daredevil are trying to hone in on like what's happening. So Daredevil does his sonar, and then you can see it. It has a panel of Ollie's eyes just looking because he has keen eyesight. Like it's not a superpower, but that's essentially what it would be. And I like that as a way of like, oh, it's showing their senses and which senses are key. Oh, that was good. Otherwise, yeah, it wasn't for me.
All right. Next, we've got Rocket, Raccoon, and Green Lantern. This is by Al Ewing with DK Ruan
Yep.
on art. Moreno Denicio on colors, Joe Caramagna on the letters. And this is another one of those books that plays completely straight with the idea that, these two universes are coming together. And there's a unity, there's a cultural exchange between the Guardians of Oa and the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's a very short 2-page story, but Raccoon becomes a Green Lantern, which is exactly what the hell I want to see.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, frickin' Hal Jordan becomes Parallax and gets the Infinity Gauntlet. What?
This was my favorite of all the stories.
Yeah.
It was a fun, like, this is what I like. It's just like Al is just going to have a quick little bit of fun. And he's going to use that fun to show how Rocket's nuts. And he always wrote Rocket nuts in like his Guardians runs and when he would show up in X-Men Red, I believe. And then also to kind of shit on Hal Jordan a little bit. It's like, it doesn't matter where Hal Jordan goes, he will fuck up and become the biggest villain possible.
He will always
that because it's like all Rocket Raccoon. The whole two pages is like 90% Rocket Raccoon until it's not, and it's like, oh, there's your punchline. I thought it was a great, like, it's a joke is all it is, and it was fun for me. I just think that was my favorite part.
Yeah, it's another like kind of just silly 2-page story. Good, just good fun.
Yeah, Monster Design calls out Rocket's jacket, and he looked fantastic. Like this is exactly what. Like, I'm not saying that I wouldn't want a much larger interconnected story. I definitely would, but knowing what this was going to be, this is exactly the kind of thing that I was hoping we would get.
Yeah.
These quick little, fun bits alongside stories that are slightly longer, like the Wonder Woman Captain America one. So I had fun with this. I had fun with that one.
And Ruan, I feel like is not a name I've seen.
Ooh,
So
I feel like we've read something of his before.
yeah,
Yeah.
strong art.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. Frank with the $5. Live 45 minutes away from a shop, so I won't be reading the crossover. Seems like they're leaving money on the table without a digital release. They definitely are leaving money on the table, Frank. They're trying to get people to go to stores to grab this, which I completely understand. And I support, but I also agree with you and I sympathize with the fact that you can't get a copy. I got to imagine that there will be a way eventually for digital readers to get this.
Yeah, I think so.
Not a guy
DK Ruan has been doing a lot of the Ultimates covers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Showdown by Frank Miller with Alex Sinclair just on the colors and Joe Caramagna on the letters. And it's Batman versus Wolverine. Literally.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, Marco.
I came ready to defend my boy Frank Miller. So I in this the year 2025 where Frank Miller is doing different things with his art, I applaud him for him sticking to his guns on what he wants to be able to portray. It's all side, like long widescreen kind of panels, which are interesting. And then the framing that he puts everybody in, that kind of hunched over. That's what he's doing now. And so I think to put such a storied, an important creator on these two characters, and let him just do whatever he wants to do, fine. I'll give him that grace.
And Banksy Mane's saying so bad. I'm gonna clap back real quick. Frank Miller's old as hell, dude. Like his physical capabilities are not there. So this is one of those things where it's like Frank Miller did so much for Marvel and DC, especially with these two characters, that you can't not have him be a part of this book. And the fact that he can even draw anything at all is a gift. And honestly, I think his art it is different. It's not the prettiest art, but the fact that he's able to still do it and kind of experiment a little bit as well, I think is something to be applauded. And I actually enjoyed this a lot. It's not good looking, but it's still Frank Miller, and it still feels like Frank Miller. The dialogue that Bruce was given here, I was like, oh, he still got it. That's Dark Knight right there. I was just kind of like smirking as I read this. Like, it's not pretty, but like, man, it's just cool to see this still. Like it's like one of those creators where like, let's give him his flowers while he's still here. Let him have his fun time with books. We got so many comic creators that just we don't see ever again until we hear a Bleeding Cool article that they need a GoFundMe for medical bills. Frank Miller's one of the GOATs. Let's just let him do it.
I thought this was fun. It has a feeling of claustrophobia because they're hunched and the panels are laid out in such a way where it feels like they're the only space that they have is what you can see within the panel to fight each other, which gives it this like really raw animalistic feel, this claustrophobic fight to the death feel. It's 9 panels total across 3 pages, which again gives it that feel. And I've never seen claustrophobia in a comic portrayed with less panels. It's typically portrayed with more panels. So I really like that. I had no problem with this. I don't have an issue with Frank's new style. I don't need to see him doing like full books like this, but for the 3 pages that we got and what I got out of it, I had no problem with the story at all.
Yeah, like those mini comics that were in the DK3, the Master Race were a little iffy. But yeah, no, it's just cool to see him do that.
And then the last one is the one that Chad is breathing down our necks to talk about. Which this is the big one. So if you don't know what happens here, because it alludes to a potential future, this is where you want to tap out. because Ryan North, Ryan Stegman, Frank Martin, and Joe Caramagna introduced us to who appears to be the first amalgam character created in what 30 years. Logo, a combination of Lobo and Wolverine. Logo.
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 What does this mean for Lobo the Duck, though?
I don't know.
Damn. Retconned. Here's the thing, and I think this is a good maybe tie into the issue as a whole. I think I like the amalgam stuff more. I thought this was fun. Also, Stegman's art is great, and this is a great design for Stegman to do. But it's like you can do whatever you want there. You can kill off those characters. You can introduce them. You know, you can actually do stuff with them. Like when you have your main DC and Marvel characters, they can only really have like kumbaya moments, and there can't be too much substance really with it. This is fun. I thought this was fun. It's cool seeing Thanos' side in there as well. I kind of like the amalgam stuff, and I don't know if this means we're getting a part 2 in the Batman Deadpool #1, or you know, Liefeld himself has been alluding to that this is not the first crossover that not the final crossover we're having. So we'll see. But I thought this was fun, guys. I'm a Logo fan.
Yeah, dude, this fragging rocked.
Bub stitches, like
Oh, all of it. The style, the I don't give a fuck attitude. Yeah, all of this. And I think because it was Stegman, he's able to put a great flair on top of everything, just like precision art, make it feel dynamic and still kind of fluid. Very, very strong. This was a lot of fun. I would love to see more of this.
And there's allusions to different potential amalgam characters like Coltron, which we know the Ultron part, but what's the K part? Is it Kite Man?
it's Cobra.
Cobra.
Yeah,
Oh.
the JSA. That's what the color
Why?
scheme. I don't know why they would pair those two up. I thought it would be like Metallo and Ultron makes more sense to me. But I was like, Coltron. I had to Google it.
That's fucking strange. But aside from that, I mean, you know, it's only 3 pages, so there's not a lot to glean from it, but you know, it's fine. And it feels as though this is a tease to what's to come. Look, we know that we're getting Batman Deadpool in November.
Mhm.
We know that Marvel and DC, we know for a fact that they have plans for 2026.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. So, what do those plans look like? We don't know, but I got to imagine that this was done as a teaser for what's to come.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I kind of hope that we get like an amalgam mini.
That'd be fun.
Kill the amalgam universe finally. Just end it. Have them have their secret crisis, you know?
Deadpool kills.
Oh
No, God.
not-
No more
not him.
Deadpool. I'll see what Grant's take on Deadpool is, but that's the last take on Deadpool I'm going to take for a while.
I'm trying to think now. Have we ever seen Grant write Deadpool before?
Don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. Yeah, that sounds fun. That
Yeah.
sounds fun, especially after reading this. I'm definitely pumped to see what Grant does. That's going to be cool. Overall thoughts on Deadpool Batman #1?
Overall, strong. Outside of the first story, which somehow the marquee story was the weakest of all of them. I think that this is definitely for a weekly comic book reader. You want to give them something wacky, something that is overall for them to experience and fun. This was a good book. I think it was worth the money.
For me, it was more like a Halloween bag of candy. It's like, oh, I'm excited. That's a bag of candy. Of course I'm excited for that. And you open it up and you got some like Rolos and you know, Charleston chews in there. Like, well, okay, that's not really what I wanted. But then somebody got you some Reese's. You're like, oh, okay, the Reese's is good. So it is a literal mixed bag, in my opinion, but it's all candy. So like, I can't really say anything bad about it, but it didn't even brush pick of the week for me.
I had a great time. I, you know, when it comes to events, I prefer events that are very serious, because the stories are supposed to feel like they matter, but these don't have to matter. So because of that, I was able to just have a good time, and I did, by and large. And then I also felt things. You know, the Captain America Wonder Woman story uh, was it just felt significant to me. And again, like I said, I would love to see more of that. I enjoyed the heck out of the Green Arrow Daredevil, and I had fun with all the other stories. And I'm genuinely looking forward to more of this. So for me, this was my pick of the week. That probably has more to do with my feelings on the rest of the docket than this particular book. But like I said, I did have fun, and I don't feel like I didn't get what I expected, and I had a little bit more fun than I thought I would. So let's see what you guys go ahead.
No Concept in the chat is saying, which variant covers did y'all get? Do you want to reveal that now, or are you going to wait for your stack?
Hold
Sean?
on. Deadpool #1 pull 62%. Pick of the week 17%. Didn't buy or read 13%. Pass is 8%. As a reminder, we always put a poll up for every book that we review on here. We've got over 100 of you hanging out with us. Thank you for that.
Damn.
Yeah, we are having a great time talking Deadpool and Batman. And what I want to know from you guys is, should I show you the variants that I got now, or should we wait until stack time a little bit later? So I'm going to put up a poll.
Okay.
And we're going to let the audience decide what I should do. So here we go. Boom.
And I got to imagine some of those didn't buy or didn't reads were due to digital not being available.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And yes, while you're voting, while you're hanging out, make sure you click that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not. I love that the chat makes sure people know that you guys are really fucking cool.
They're on it, dude. Always.
Yeah.
Every week.
And I appreciate the comments on my haircut. It's very nice of you guys. Entertain Me says, Sean, was this comic like the best date you had in a long time? I don't know how to answer that. So I'm going to say no, I guess.
I wouldn't date a piece of paper, so I would say no too. Yeah. Did you guys, while we wait for the poll, did you guys see the New York Comic Con variant that's coming out of this?
Ooh, is there?
Yeah, it's David Nakayama, Magic, and Poison Ivy. I will need that.
Definitely grabbing it.
I'm grabbing it immediately.
No doubt.
I know you guys want us to do interviews for New York Comic Con. Fuck it. Sorry. I'm grabbing that book.
Hey, yo.
Wow. All right. 65% of you want me to reveal now. Okay, so I will.
They do. There's no patience. No patience.
Well, I do like to see what their memory will be like by the end of the show. See if they even get it right.
I mean, I was pretty open about the ones that I intended to get, so there really aren't they're not going to be surprises. I didn't go hog wild, but I did do what I said I was going to do. So obviously, I had to cover A. You have to do that. I got the Captain America Wonder Woman variant by Dodson, which I'm so happy I got, because just off cover, this was I needed to have this, and then I ended up loving the story, so I feel validated with my purchase there. And then of course I got Big Barda DWJ Samuel Johnson variant. This was a must.
I didn't even see that the LCS I went to. I don't really like the LCS I went to. It was just the closest one. I had to get there before Dan Waters' interview. So but they did have the one that I wanted. They didn't have the extras that I wanted though, so I only got to get one.
I would say to anybody who's waiting on digital or sort of questioning whether or not this is worth going to get physically, look, it's not going to knock your socks off. I don't think any of us are mind blown, but it's fun. And it's a moment in time, like after next year, we have no clue when they're going to do this again. But the last one was 20 years ago, so I wouldn't miss this. There'd be no way for me to miss this. It's, by the way, it's only what is it, $6.99?
Yep, $6.99.
Yep.
When you rang me up, I was like, I was expecting $10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that honestly, that's pretty reasonable. Like for the amount of content we got, for the amount of story pages and things like that we got, plus the fact that it's this crossover, that's a very reasonable price. You guys know I always complain about prices.
64 pages for $6.99. No, that's fine.
We paid more for Gods.
Oof, $8.99.
Well, Gods was a good book though.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But we paid more for Gods, and that wasn't a crossover. That was just a regular Marvel book. So I'm very pleased with the fact that the price was decent. Sly Blue Demon says I might go grab it tomorrow. Yeah, you should.
Yeah,
you should.
I'm gonna have to find that variant, the DWJ. It's the only thing I want.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Cole says DC one is $7.99. Whoa.
Huh?
Is it more? Let's see. Batman.
Are you looking at cardstock covers? That's not a good.
Yeah, it's showing us $7.99 for 64 pages. Is this the one DC is publishing?
Yeah, it is.
Hey, if that's a
What?
grant tax, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the grant tax.
Wow.
And I gotta say, the stories involved in this are more appealing to me.
How is it that Marvel's price is lower than DC's
Yeah,
price?
Fucking topsy-turvy land.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Is there a page differential?
No, same amount of
No.
pages.
64?
Yep.
Mhm.
I wonder if this was also
What?
going to have a surprise backup as well.
Logo number 2.
I'm looking at the DC Marvel Batman Deadpool #1 and in League of Comic Geeks, and you can expand each individual story, and it shows you the characters involved. And the grant one is just Batman, Deadpool, Danny the Street. Those are the only 3 characters. And I'm like, this is going to be a grant book. I can't wait.
Hell yeah.
Well, we don't have too long to wait, just a couple of months, and we will have the second part of this crossover in our hands. That should be a lot of fun. Yeah, this was a fun time. Now, speaking of fun times, we always have a fun time every single Saturday right here at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. So come hang out with us. We're going to talk about all the stuff happening in comics this week. A certain executive editor at Marvel has shut down his Substack.
Oh
and,
no.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Was it us? did I do that?
No, because
No,
I dabble. That'd be hypocritical.
Not for me.
Well.
I have values.
Let's talk about Ultimates number 16. This is written by Dennis Camp. As always, with art by Juan Frigeri. As always, Federico Blield and colors, letters by Travis Lanham. If you thought that this story would focus on Iron Lad, America Chavez, because they're on the cover, Cap, because he's a member of the team, She-Hulk, Hawkeye, anyone like that, you would be wrong. You would be all the way wrong. Instead, it follows Wren, W-R-E-N, who is a young girl that we get to watch grow up in the world of the Ultimate Universe. And we see the effects that the Ultimate's existence has on her life. She ends up in a group that are Ultimate's sympathizers, and then they become official members through the Ultnet, members of this, secretive Ultimates organization. They come to try and kill her. She gets help from other members of this organization, and then that's about it. She gets taken and she's being brought to a secluded location. And then at the end, on the very last panel, you see that there are 2 months remaining, and I asked you, what the fuck are we doing?
I'm gonna come out the gate. Pick of the week.
Marco? That's my pick of the week too.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Sean is visibly confused.
Yeah.
So I hear you on the end, but hold on.
Go for it.
I thought that this was a great glimpse into the effects that the Ultimates have had on the people in the book and people in this universe. We've the premise of this from camp has been, it almost feels grassroots. We're trying to build this new movement. We're trying to build this kind of anger, not righteous as much as a out of desperation. And that's kind of been what the Ultimates have been feeling. And now that's being translated to people on the ground. Maybe I'm in a mood for more like direct political kind of stories, but I felt like this was a good representation of how you how you bring in the world into the book that you're currently writing. So for me, I thoroughly enjoyed this, the kind of revolutionary aspect of it. I was excited, and I think I hadn't felt that in an Ultimates book in a while. Even the issue where they introduce AltNet, I thought, I'm like, this is some dumbass shit. But now that we get to see the effects on the ground, grassroots, like how this inspires people, because I think that's what's important. This felt inspirational and left me feeling inspired.
I feel exactly the same way as you, Marco. This scratched an itch that I need in comics. This is not the veiled analogy that the mutants are in X-Men. This is Dennis Camp doing what he believes on the page. Yes, the Ultimates aren't in it, but it still deals with the Ultimates and their effect on the world. We always talk about wanting something similar to Marvel's or something similar to those street level books where you have like Ben Urich on the ground, and it's like how do the normal people react to things? This is that issue. It's a great issue of assorted crisis events. But
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was really interesting to see how like where the Ultimates started, they were nobodies, quite literally, and just to see that big giant man boot with the Ultimates logo in it start to light the fire, and how the fire is building and building. And then like the idea that the Ultimates, and Dennis Camp has talked about this on social media and all that, the Ultimates isn't just the superhero team. It's everyone in the movement. It's not really a team as much as it's a movement. And I like how the book is kind of telling you that and bringing you bringing you home with that. And it's also creating a new character with this Ren. I don't know who she is, and yes, I complained about all the previous issues showing new characters and stuff, but this is a literal new character. She does not exist in either universe. I thought that was interesting. I thought it was a kind of a vaguely inspiring book. Whereas, we'll get to New Gods later, and I think that's around these almost a bit of a nihilist take on current events, and or at least a character's nihilistic view on it. And I just thought this is like exactly what I wanted to read from Dennis Camp. I still don't really know where it's gonna go in terms of the main plot of it all. We'll see it when we get Endgame, but I did really enjoy this issue. It's funny, you're seeing, Dennis Camp, will retweet it, or I'll see it, separate from his retweets or whatever. But people have been spray painting the Ultimates logo in places. It's been in Mexico. It's been spray painted and it just says "Fix the World" in different languages, or like stickered in places. And I like that in the real world, kind of mimicking what it's doing in the comic. It was really interesting, and that's something I haven't really seen in a comic to be so clearly. I can't say Antifa anymore. That's a terrorist organization now. But so anti fascistic in its way, especially from a book owned by Disney. I really liked it. It showed that the Ultimates, even though they are not winning their battles, they might be winning the war. And I enjoyed that.
Oh man. So I am done defending this book. I'm just done. Like I don't understand how we're 2 months remaining and this is what we're getting. Like we should have got, if this was a necessity, we should have gotten this a long time ago. And I just I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I feel like my time has been wasted in a lot of ways. This was such an exciting thing, and it has just become new character or ultimatized character of the month. It's just one and done every single issue, and I am bored. Um, Also, how did Ren get her hand cut off and then she just puts a
I did have an
fucking
issue with that. Yeah.
she just puts a fucking
A
the
t-shirt,
homeless
some shit.
dude's t-shirt on it or whatever,
Which is probably
and
dirty.
she's just completely fine. Like she's not infected and dead. That was dumb as fuck. Um, there's just nothing here for me. Like I appreciate the message, but we've heard this already. We already know this, and I feel like Camp is beating the same drum every single time.
This I don't fully disagree with you either, Sean, but I think this issue brought it all together for me. This issue, like previously, it was like, oh, this is the Luke Cage issue. This is the American Chavez issue. It was showing the heroes of it all and bringing them into the fold. But this shows that, like, yes, this is a movement, though. And, like, seeing the human consequences of all the actions of this world also did world building, which none of the other Ultimate books really want to do. Was nice, and it kind of really gelled what I wasn't liking before and made it make sense in terms of like, here's why Camp was doing it.
The problem is that we got the issue with the people in jail, and we saw them get out, and there was that whole issue that only it showed us how what Ultimates 2.0 was going to be, or 3.0 was going to be doing different, and it showed us how all these people were involved, these ground level people. We've already seen this. Like, what does this issue tell us that those didn't?
I don't think it tells us anything new necessarily, but I think it gives us a different perspective because all of those other issues were from the lens of somebody in either in that leadership role from the Ultimates, or position of power. Whereas this is coming from the perspective of those people who follow said power, and get inspired by that power. I think there's something to be said there about the jail break, but even then we were following Luke Cage. We're not following, one of the individual people there that uh are in the jail, that aren't a powered individual. So I think that's the difference that this issue brought that we haven't touched on previously. And that's the only reason that I feel like it does something good here. Because if this had been more of the same of the heroes we already know, of the people we've already interacted with, and they're telling me about how the people on the ground are feeling, that feels less emotional and involved than if I'm seeing Ren go through this personally.
Yeah, and then seeing like literally her life because of this, because these are months. We're seeing all these months of her life and changing. I think it's the same coin, different perspective, and I think that's why I enjoyed it. And you get the bit with like Jennifer Walters, Ultimate Jennifer Walters shows up in here, so the actual She-Hulk, and she gets taken away, and then her friend gets presumably killed or outed by her family, and yeah, I thought it was really compelling, honestly. Um, the Avengers work well too when they have that ground level POV character. So maybe this will be the Ultimates version of that. Ren will be that. I don't know. And it's also, she might not ever even show up again. Who knows? But it at least is a perspective of the other side of what the Ultimates are.
I am a pass. I am done. I'm done.
Wow.
I'm done.
Is that our first double pick of the week in single pass? Because usually it's like,
Surely not.
no, you go your Excel spreadsheet, numbers boy.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was gonna get flamed for this being my pick of the week, but at least
Oh my
Mark was
God.
with me.
Same.
I finished the issue. I'm like, man, I really like that. Oh no.
Didn't buy a read is 42%.
Yikes.
36% say pull, 14% say pass, and 8% say pick of the week.
Well, it's nice to see that 8% of you are right.
Thank you guys for voting. Make sure you vote in every poll that we post. Kenneth Williams with the 199. Are you guys worried about Ultimate Endgame? Yes.
Yes. For all that we said positively about this issue, yes,
Yes.
very much concerned.
I'm concerned for the Ultimate Universe as a whole. I don't
Yeah.
think it has much cohesion. That Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion book is not for me. But we'll see. We'll see.
You know, Tyler, I think you're right. I don't see any other. The only other one is Rogue the Savage Land, where I said pick of the week and y'all said pass. But that doesn't count.
That's when
Not-
Sean and I were right.
Well,
Yeah.
Let's see. Comic book history. The Ultimates title is what I want. This is a book the absolute universe is crying for right now. I guess you mean a book that's filling out the world of the absolute universe. I don't think that I don't think that the Ultimate Universe is lacking world building. I actually think the exact opposite. I think it's too much world building. It's too much setting stuff up that has yet to lead anywhere. Whereas the Absolute Universe feels more concerned with active storytelling. And I want more active storytelling.
The Absolute Universe also did not start off with a crossover. It started off with individual books, and that's why it's fine in my eyes for those books to be individual. Whereas the Ultimate Universe was Ultimate Invasion, right? Ultimate Incursion, whatever that. Invasion, yeah. And it then splintered off into other books, so it always was going to be intertwined at some point. So I just think the impetus for each of the universes was different.
But we don't know about any intertwining. Actually, we know, like, I haven't thought about Marvel Mainline's involvement in this at all. I have no idea that they're going to be involved.
I don't mean Marvel Mainline. I mean it started off with the world being built, and then like Spider-Man showed up briefly at the end of it, and then like the world was created in that book, and they were all created at the same time, and then they splintered off into single issues, and they're going to come back into a big event. Irrelevant from 616.
sure.
Joseph Wolf says, I'm so glad Absolute doesn't have this book. All of the books are allowed to do what they want and have freedom. Ultimates feels like it's been spinning wheels for like almost 10 issues.
A while. Yeah, definitely a while.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with that either. Like I do think felt like it was spinning wheels, but this at least put a bigger perspective on it and kind of filled in the cracks for me a bit thematically. Maybe not plot-wise, but definitely thematically.
Yeah, when was that Guardians of the Galaxy issue?
That was like January or March, dude.
I think that was issue 11, I think. Something like that. And it feels like we haven't moved forward since before that.
Oof, was that issue 8?
Wow.
That was issue 8. Yep.
Yeah.
First appearance of the Ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy. Fucking
it's been like
yikes.
10 issues, dude. Yeah.
Holy shit.
We haven't moved forward. Fantastic Four _3. This is written by Ryan North with art by Humberto Ramos, colors by Edgar Delgado, letters by Joe Caramagna, inks by Victor Olazaba. The Fantastic Four are trapped in a doom vortex, just like the rest of the Marvel Universe. They have realized that every time that they defeat Doom, Doom basically uses a save point and uses what he knows about how they beat him to beat them. And that is how Doom has remained undefeated throughout One World Under Doom. And so the Fantastic Four have to devise a plan to overcome Doom's advantage. And of course they do, because they're the Fantastic Four. And they defeat Doom, and then Doom Sandman's off, Spider-Man 3 style, into the Nether, and the issue ends. That's about it.
This felt. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I didn't love this. It's all right. I did like that they were able to defeat Doom, but it feels like when you beat Dr. Robotnik in a Sonic game and he comes out of whatever device he was in and he just leaves and Sonic lets him leave because why not? It very much feels like that. They just beat him, then they stand up, chit chat, then he Sandman's out, and then they just leave in the Fantastic car or whatever, and that's all.
I, I still enjoyed it. I don't think it was, it didn't blow my socks off. Socks are clearly on still. But it did do what the previous volume kind of did, where it was essentially a one and done. And I enjoyed it for that. Yeah, it's tying into One World Under Doom, so it has to deal with Doom still. But it was like, all right, here's the question that needs to be solved. The problem needs to be solved is Doom has these save points. How do we stop them? And then there's the hypothesis of it all, of them trying to figure it out, and then the experiment of it. And that's kind of the MO of Ryan North's Fantastic Four. And I enjoyed it. It's Humberto Ramos art, which is the most comic booky art possible. It's gorgeous. I thought this was pretty good. This was close to my pick, but I just like how like it just fits that formula so well for the Fantastic Four and what Ryan North are doing, even though it's a tie-in book.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Like it felt like it fit the formula, and that's not a bad thing, but it does feel like I can kind of see the gears turning on how the story is constructed, and I don't always feel like I'm being taken along for the ride as much as in being told, hey, here's how I'm building it, and that can be fine. Um, but for this, I didn't feel I I never felt like the Fantastic Four were ever in danger. They will always get out of it, and I think that that's kind of the premise of this story, and the premise of this arc is even if you get put back in time, and even if Doctor Doom knows exactly what you're going to do next, uh, at the end of the day, the Fantastic Four will prevail in some wacky experimental way. All right, I feel like it delivered on what it promised, and I will happily say I read the comic, and I don't have to think about it anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, man, I was enjoying the Ryan North run previous to this so much, and even though I don't think there's anything like really wrong with this issue, I'm just not feeling it the way I was, and I'm disappointed by that. I hope that like I don't know what I want this book to be anymore. I was enjoying the way it was, where it was very much like one and dones or two and dones, where science was at the core of the story, and they weren't really dealing with traditional supervillains. Um, and I think I would like it to go back to that, but I think I might just be I might just be cool on Ryan North right now, because I'm despising One World Under Doom, and then he wrote something else that I didn't love. So I don't know. I'm just in a weird spot with him, but I think this issue's fine. If you are missing Fantastic Four in your life, or you've enjoyed the previous run, you'll probably enjoy this. There's some gnarly body horror, as this series has become known for, that nasty like massive Reed Richards eyeball.
Hell yeah.
And how it turns into a microscope because he adjusts his lens. I'm like, oh, that's Ryan North for you.
Yeah.
Writes the
Cool.
grossest Reed Richards.
So smart.
Absolutely, just nastiness.
Yeah. I also like the bit in here, like the person, like this is a big question, big brain issue, right? The person that figures it out is Johnny Storm. And I think North has a good handle on Johnny Storm and why he matters to the Fantastic Four. Because he's not the brawn, he's not the brains, and he's not really the heart either, like Sue is. But he has a point. He's almost a combination of all three. And I still don't like that fuck ass mustache. But I do like Ryan North's Human Torch a ton.
I say pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
All right, let's end this poll and see what you guys are saying. Didn't buy or read 62%, pull 22%, pass 13%, pick of the week 3%. So you guys are not really reading or feeling Fantastic Four right now. That's good data. Thank you. Banksy Main says, y'all don't think the time machine safe scumming cheapens everything that's been going on in the main event book?
I don't think about it. I've stopped trying to square what's happening in the time. Like, sure, it has One World Under Doom on the banner, but I don't really think of that. Sure, I think of it like the book tells me where it is in the grand scheme of Marvel and timing wise, but I don't think they need to line up, 100%.
I don't feel it in that way. So
Tonally, they're wildly different too.
yeah, exactly. So it almost feels like this is a completely separate book, even though it's trying to deal with those situations. I don't feel like this is intertwined to any degree that I have to care that that is a consequence.
Banksy Main, that annoyed me. Of course, it's frustrating that that kind of information wouldn't get revealed in One World Under Doom because it is pretty critical, and yeah, it does make me look at what's happening in One World Under Doom slightly differently. It doesn't change what's happening in that event, um, but it does recontextualize it slightly. And I do have questions about where this sits adjacent to One World Under Doom from a timeline perspective, because I'm used to events, at least the ones I like, having a little bit more. You can place this here, you can place that there. This doesn't really feel like it can be placed anywhere. It just feels like there's not a lot of thought going into that part. But
Hayden says, next Pals video, does Marvel have a Fantastic Four problem? Give it a year.
We'll see. We'll see. Let's talk about Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, let's talk.
12, which is not the book that you guys voted for in the Pals Pulls poll this past week. So basically, I fucked up. I wrote Absolute Green Lantern 7 when it was really Flash 7. You guys noticed it. We talked about it in the comment section. These things happen. There was a miscommunication behind the scenes. Amazing Spider-Man was put on the docket, and here we are. So we'll talk about Amazing Spider-Man. That being said, next week, your options for the poll, which is up now, goes up every Thursday at 5 p.m. Your options are Mortal Thor #2, Battle World #1, Escape #2, and Green Lantern #27. So some pretty good books on there.
Green Lantern
Green
week, though.
Lanterns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's winning. That,
rigged.
but
It's rigged.
Mortal Thor's close though. It's close, 27% to 32%. I just voted.
I will say, when last week's poll started, Street Sharks was almost in the lead for a while, for like the first day or so. So who knows? It's a little too early to tell.
Yeah, it can turn. It can turn on a dime, and a lot of people rooting for Escape. It is in the last place position, so if you want Escape to win, you're going to have to make sure you get that vote in. But let's talk about the book on the docket, Amazing Spider-Man 12. This is written by Joe Kelly with pencils and inks by Ed McGuinness, Cliff Rathburn on inks as well, colors by Eric Arciniega, letters by Joe Caramagna. Now, as you know, I'm assuming, Peter is gone. He was punched into space by Hellgate, and there was a lot of confusion prior as to how he got to that position. This issue puts a fine point on it, which I think they should have already done. But that's made very clear. We get more of Norman as Spider-Man. Norman Osborn is Spider-Man, and Ben Reilly is playing the role of Peter Parker. So we get to live in their worlds a little bit, as they're impostering. And in the case of Norman, he is encountered by some of Spider-Man's amazing friends. Silk, Spider-Boy, and Miles confront this new Spider-Man, this new, more violent Spider-Man. And he realizes that he doesn't need to be beating on these kids. And he goes away in shame. That's largely what happened here. Mark, how'd you feel about ASM 12?
Go back to the heartfelt stuff, man. What happened with this book? I did not much care for this. I I don't know if it's that I don't have a connection with all these other spider peoples. So the dynamic between that and Norman didn't feel large to me. His sort of conflict and kind of emotional uh uh, uh devolution, not devolution, it's too strong, but
It's evolution,
the
really.
well, but you know, him kind of feeling like, oh, these pieces are coming back, and I'm getting these flashbacks and these memories. Um, did we not? His character not in a place where he's moved beyond these things, but now that they're rearing their ugly head, like and that's sort of what I was feeling throughout this. And so I didn't quite connect on an emotional level, maybe in the way that this was intended to from Kelly. Um, get me back into space. I was having fun there.
This is almost my pick of the week.
What?
I loved this issue. Hey buddy. I since the whole sins past, Norman becoming having the sins of Norman Osborn removed from him and him having to kind of cope with all of that. Outside of Gold Goblin, haven't gotten really much of Norman's self reaction to it. We've seen other people react to him and be a little wary about him, a little worried about him. We're finally seeing Norman's reaction to this, and I think the Joe Kelly using the same trope that he used in the previous arcs with Peter flashing back to this black and white version of him being a kid, I thought was really, really good here because I don't remember the last time I saw Norman think about his childhood. I don't think I've ever seen Norman as a kid, and that was like, okay, we're really putting ourselves in the shoes of Norman here, and I started to feel a little bad for him. I think there's this like real guilt that he's starting to feel, and he's just trying to get rid of it. And the only way he knows how to get rid of that is by working. That has always been his way of fixing things. It's work, work, work. Whether that's working as Green Goblin or working as, Norman Osborn, it's always working through things. And this is him working through those emotions and trying to find a solution to this overwhelming guilt that he has by being Spider-Man. And I thought that one bit where he's fighting the other spiders, and he's fucking mollywopping them. Of course he is. He would fight Peter Parker to a standstill most of the time. So I thought that was great. I like the whole bit where like he's still Norman, like he still gets frustrated. He still has anger issues that he's dealing with here, but he's learning to catch himself. And I thought that was like, man, are we getting actual character growth from a big two character? I thought it was really, really interesting. And holy hell, Ed McGuinness is like top 10 comic artist for me. This book just looks so damn good. I really like this issue. I thought this was a lot of fun.
This is a tough one for me because there are some good things here. I think there is good character work with Norman that is compelling, but I don't want it. I don't want it. Like I don't want to read a book about Norman Osborn the same way I didn't want to read a book about Doc Ock. Um, I just don't want it. And watching him fight the spider allies, I don't know. Like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him hitting them. I don't want to see him getting sympathy. Like I don't believe in this version of Norman, and that's the problem that I'm having. And I don't think there's anything any writer can do to make me feel differently. I just don't buy it.
Do you think there's ever
Um,
going to be a time where this is the status quo?
it
Like,
is right now.
but like it's been around for a while, Like I would
Yeah,
have thought this would have ended with Spencer's run. Like no, it's continued with 3 different runs at this point.
yeah.
Um, so there is like the whole point where like I didn't buy it before. I'm starting to buy it now. We've been in it for a while, and that's going to make it hurt so much more when the turn does happen.
Because it will, right?
Oh, it will. It has to.
Yeah, it definitely will. And I was thinking about that while you were talking, like how is that gonna hit? And like I really don't actually think it's gonna hit me that hard because
Mhm.
Norman should be bad. And I would never trust this guy. He killed Gwen. That's I guess, and that's just something about comics that you have to find a way to accept, but I don't. I reject it. I don't believe that Damien would forgive Bane. I don't believe that Peter would forgive Norman. I just don't believe it.
Hmm.
Just don't.
I agree with you with the first half for sure. Damien fucking hates Bane.
You don't think Peter hates Norman?
I think Peter is a flawed character that will always look for the good in people, even in his worst enemy, which will fuck him in the long run, unfortunately.
I could see that.
I'll say pull because as an issue, I think it's good, but I don't want to read this anymore.
Interesting take, Sean.
Yeah.
I feel like I can see you going through the conflict internally with this one.
Yeah, because it was quality
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did a great job. I love Ed
That was
McGuinness.
strong.
I just can't accept this status quo. I can't.
I'm more curious. I don't care about these relationships here, Norman or with Riley. I want to see Peter Parker. I was having fun with that. Get me back to the space things. Let's see how that resolves, because now I'm curious about that being the trajectory of the character. Like, had he just gotten punched and he got punched into space, cool.
You just want to see Symbi.
I do want to see Symbi. I want to see what that looks like. What is that? What's going on there?
One thing we haven't touched too, but there's that brief, scene in the middle of this book with Ben Reilly filling in as Peter, and there's that one bit where he's like, "I want to enjoy it while it lasts," and Peter's friend catches that, like, "Oh, what do you mean by that?" And I thought, like, "Oh, that's a good Ben Reilly right there," because Ben Reilly always has this as a status quo at some point, and it gets taken away from him every single fucking time. And there's that Ben Reilly's having to cope with. And I thought, like, even that little bit was good. I'm so much more interested in this than the space stuff. It's kind of funny.
But to that point, I feel annoyed that he's the one going through it and not Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a specific Ben Reilly thing, though. It's not that Peter's job gets taken away from him. Sure, that can be Peter's story. But Ben's story is that he's always Peter at one point, and that gets taken from him. This story cannot be Peter's story.
But I hear you. If that's the case, then I don't care. Yeah. Then if that's the case, then I don't care for Ben Reilly.
It's so funny because I used to hate Ben Reilly, despise him, and throughout the past couple years, the Chasm stuff and the Spider-Man. What was the big previous run Beyond, Spider-Man Beyond, all that? I really warmed up to the character, and it's weird because he is a tragic character. He's all of Peter Parker without any of the good stuff.
Yeah, this was good stuff, but without Peter Parker.
You get that next week or the week after, something like that. I forget how the publishing cycle works.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
Well, we get to have both cakes at this point.
Yeah. So pull.
Yeah.
Pass.
Fair. Didn't buy a read, 38%, pull, 33%, pass, 25%, pick of the week, 4%. I would like to know how many of those people who voted in this poll would have voted differently if this was a Pepe Larraz Peter Parker space issue. Like, are you guys that said didn't buy a read, like waiting for that, or are you just not on the spider train at all?
Are you guys spider cucks is what you're asking? Like, are you just watching from the sidelines while Spider-Man isn't Spider-Man, having some fun over there? Or maybe I'm just saying that.
Waiting my turn.
Okay.
For Space Spider. Space Spider.
Got it. Yeah, Marco, let's not talk about this one from you. You keep quiet on this.
Steve Canaris asked a compelling question. What would a kid who just watched a Spider-Man cartoon for the first time think picking up this issue? Does she become a devoted comics reading fan?
Oof.
I don't.
Confusion? Like, if you're picking this book up as a new reader simply because you've seen the movie, this is so far from any movie. You're so far from what that is because Peter Parker does not even exist in this issue.
I think there's probably, if you're reading, like, if you watched, what do you say, Spider-Man cartoon, the most recent one where Norman's in that, the idea of Norman Spider-Man could be intriguing. That is such a hard question to answer because that is so dependent on taste.
Well, I think what Steve's getting at is the fact that Peter's not here, and so people may not feel like they're getting what they think Spider-Man is. I don't disagree with the premise of what you're asking, Steve. I guess it's just not a reality
Yeah.
in comics these days. I think this is probably stretching as far as you can in comics, but like there are a lot of times where if you were to read a book in the middle of a run, you would be like, what the fuck am I reading? The any comic could be someone's first is still a thing, but I do think that that sort of axiom has to be thought about in a different way than it did 30, 40, or 50 years ago. Comics are just not the same.
Yeah, I think if you were to ask me about the previous issue, it's probably a more apt question. Because this one, it's like jumping in the middle of arc for any book. Like there's still a story going on here that Peter is involved with, just not this issue.
Yeah. Julissa Kunalada with the 3 spots to share a sticker with us. Thank you, Julissa.
You can share stickers in that? Okay.
Yeah. Y'all should try.
Yes, I would love to see some stickers. Julissa sent a cat.
I think
Is that a cat?
I think
It's a dog.
It's a Shiba Inu.
Shiba Inu saying bye bye.
Like a Dogecoin, which Marco's heavily invested in.
No. I've been out of that for a couple years now.
You're on Poop Coin, right?
I'm on Surf Coin.
I don't doubt it.
Well, let's surf on over to the indie space and talk about Invincible Universe, Battle Beast. Number 5, Robert Kirkman, Ryan Otley, Annalisa Leone on the colors. Russ Wooten on the letters. 1 second.
Russ Wooten,
sorry.
one of the best names in comics.
Indeed. So this issue gives us the backstory of the Prince Salaka, who is the little piece of shit that barely has a body that we were introduced to in the first
The little
issue.
goober.
Yeah. And we get to see like the fall of his empire that he was a prince of. We get to see, his cowardice. We get to see his hubris, and we get to see him get chomped on. And I was like, do I really need a whole issue of this dude's origin? It's not a whole issue of his origin, which I was grateful for. But it was additive. I did think that was necessary to see. And then the rest of the issue gives us the stuff that we've enjoyed, which is the robot talking shit to Battle Beast and still wants him dead. Battle Beast being vulnerable as well and expressing that, he wants to die because he's in pain. He's got this rage that he cannot get away from. And I think Robert Kirkman was making an interesting statement on how both of these characters, Prince Salaka and Battle Beast, are both slaves to their nature. Battle Beast can't overcome his rage the same way Prince Salaka couldn't overcome his fear. And I think that that's interesting, especially because everybody has an Achilles heel. And these things being revealed makes what we're seeing that much more interesting. So I had a lot of fun with this book, as per usual.
And you're 100% right, Sean. That whole opening, Prince Salaka, which it got me to remember his name now.
Yes.
It really solidified who he was and added depth to where they are too, because the where of it all is important, but also adds depth to the villain that they're going to fight. So I think it was completely additive to the whole story. And then he ends his origin story, and then it just goes to Battle Beast, who was not listening, and then he just goes, just saying, And so like it was this really like deep character kind of dive on this side character, and then it gets undercut by humor, which I thought was like, that's just classic fucking Kirkman and Otley, which I thought was great. I like that this guy he's got two Achilles heels. It's women and being scared. And he just gets constantly cut under do it. And like he doesn't want to be a prince. He doesn't want to have to make these decisions because he's scared. And the whole bit where I think it's the first the guy who looks like the Max, the first guy that Battle Beast fought in the first issue, when he swallows him and his dead parents just give him his life force. He's like, I don't want it. I thought it was good, a good look into the character, and leads me to think, like, oh, that's gonna come into play. That he has to overcome that at a certain point in this. This is great. Another great issue. This is just a fun ass series.
And I think the fact that we get the Salaka origin and it's based around his fear, there can be an understanding that rage and anger is a secondary or reactionary emotion in someone. And I since we get a glimpse into Battle Beast here, one of the things that I was thinking of was, oh, is it that maybe Battle Beast has in his past with his people or something, he's lost something that he is afraid and that has transitioned into this anger and rage because the only way to quench that is with death because the alternative is that much more scary. Having to endure and live through and carry that is more painful than anything else. So I was trying to kind of like, I felt pry out some of what Battle Beast might be internalizing here. And the fact that I was trying to do that, I think is, again, kudos to Kirkman for even being able to think of putting that together. This was, echoing everything you guys are saying. Strong issue. uh and the bloodbath that is going to happen is going to be fucking cool. I'm so excited to see what Otley is going to be able to do because this issue, even though we didn't get action, I think the detail, the composition, everything was strong.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Okay.
Like this isn't necessarily a I mean, the art is outstanding, it's Ryan Otley, but it's not a Ryan Otley vehicle as much, even though he does get to draw some cool things. But as Marco alluded to, I think the next issue is going to be ridiculous. And it's issue 6, so you imagine that's closing out the arc, and it's going to be a bloodfest. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, I think even the quiet moments Otley shines. Like there's that one bit, like when Prince Salaka is done telling his story and he's looking to this world and you can see the sadness and fear in his eyes. And this is a non-human character. So Otley has to convey a human emotion through this completely made-up humanoid-looking alien. And I thought it was really well done. It's just great cartooning. And even though it's not, gnashing and gnarling and blood-filled and all that, I think Otley is known for that, but I think he should also be known for the smaller, quieter things too, like this.
Mm.
Easy pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this makes it to like our top 5 books of the year or something like that. I forget how the fucking pallies work at this point.
It's very strong.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has ever passed on this.
I don't think so.
Even Kale.
At minimum, it's been a pull, and at most,
Yeah.
it's been everybody's pick of the week.
Yeah.
Didn't buy a read, 49% pull,
Damn.
27%, pick of the week, 17%, pass, 7%.
Do we know how long this is going for? This is an ongoing, right?
It's an ongoing.
It is. Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they might be trade waiting for this. I mean, I guess the first story can be a whole arc.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I got to imagine we don't have the most activated Invincible audience, because we don't talk about it, so we don't attract those people. So if you're not connected to Invincible, I could see why you might not be picking this up. But as someone who doesn't have any great affection for Invincible, I think this series is fantastic, and I agree with Cole. Masters at work on all fronts.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've read the same amount of Invincible issues that I've read Battle Beast issues at this point.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm very unknown to Invincible.
That's a book that's good.
There's no November solicits aren't out yet, are they?
I'm not sure.
They should be, yeah.
No, this doesn't have a issue 7 for November. I don't know if it's taking a little break.
Because they always do, Image Books do 6
the trade.
trade, new issue. Sly Blue Demon, do you need to read Invincible before getting into this?
No,
No, you don't. You really
Not
don't.
at all.
You don't need to know anything at all. Literally nothing about Invincible.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, you just read it if you're interested. And again, these are two of the best creators in comics. So Austin Lenny says, as someone who just got into comics, to be able to collect an Invincible series book makes it so much sweeter when the show starts playing.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it was really smart for them to go back to Invincible with the success of the show, to have something new on stands for people like Austin.
Get to experience it, right? Like, and I think that's the joy of comics, is getting to be able to jump into something and from there be able to say, okay, cool, I am now participating in the weekly grind, or even if you're just picking up one book, the monthly grind, right? That is building a habit.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenneth Williams says here, I don't know how much patience I have for the book because I know where the story ends. You might know where Battle Beast's story ends, but they're building up enough of a supporting cast where that's still a mystery.
And I also don't think this story is about that. Like, the story is about this story. And I think if you can enjoy it for what it is, knowing that Battle Beast, I don't know what happened. He lives, he dies, I have no fucking clue. But knowing that, does it really matter that much to the quality of these individual issues? I have a hard time believing it does. Let's talk about New Gods. Oh, you're welcome, Austin. You are very welcome, my friend. That is a regular occurrence around here. I know a lot of other channels don't necessarily talk to their audience without super chats. While we appreciate super chats and we are lucky enough to have an audience that is generous, particularly on Saturdays, nothing will prevent us from having conversations with you guys. The New Gods, number 10, Rom V, Evan Cagle, a little, 4 pages, Simon Parr on the rest, Francesco Segala on the colors. Now, the first 4 pages drawn by Evan Cagle look great, and it gives us the origin of Seraphim, who I don't know anything about. And I thought this was, I mean, it's his origin, but it's sort of not. It's just, it's kind of, it explains why his appearance and some of his belief system. And I thought that looked great, and I appreciated it because I, again, didn't know this guy. And then we shift gears back to where the previous issue left off, where Seraphim has captured the kid with alongside Maxwell Lord, and now we learned that Seraphim has been played by Maxwell Lord and Desaad, who is involved, which is a huge deal. We also get more Justice League stuff. Orion wants to go find this kid. The Justice League are, trying to weigh things out and tell that they need caution. Meanwhile, there is an invasion coming the way of the New Gods and the League. Tyler, how do you feel about issue 10 of the New Gods?
Overall, I liked it. I really liked the Evan Cagle bits with Seraphim, because I knew of Seraphim from like a Wikipedia entry. He's one of the Forever people, which is like where like Lobo is originally shows up in, and I think ties in with like Darkseid and Jimmy Olsen and all that. But it was cool getting Ram V's take on it, and I really liked the take that Ram V had. This is a guy, an alien on Earth who lives on Earth, and is then inspired by Westerns, and his worldview changes and becomes more cynical and more nihilistic as the Westerns also change and become more cynical and nihilistic. It has, and it's weird because Ram V and Evan Cagle, they use images from movies with pseudo quotes. Like, they're not the identical quotes from like Unforgiven, and there's the one that's sort of a quote from There Will Be Blood. But they're drawn to make you recognize, like, this is what we're referencing. They're referencing the change of Western in media, and how that is kind of a symbol for the American view, the American people's view. It starts with, like, oh, the futurist view of coming on the moon, and we're going to be somewhere big, and it is a optimistic view on the world, to There Will Be Blood, which is a nihilistic view on the world. It's not wanting to be part of a society and all that. And it's cool seeing a character kind of grow throughout that on Earth, who is an alien to Earth, and explains why he would be in a place where he would make a drastic move. That being said, I do feel like the actual overall plot is rushing to its conclusion. I think Orion and Mr. Miracle having to save the child, fine. But then also is it the Niktari?
Yeah.
Coming in on Earth. I thought, like, what, we only have like 2 issues left?
Mhm.
I'm starting to feel the shortness of things kind of rushing to a conclusion, which is bugging me a bit. But there is a lot of goodness that I enjoyed.
Uh,
Get
I was gonna
smashed.
comment. I was gonna comment on the art more than anything else. Um, the the par stuff has been difficult to swallow, coming from the illustration of Kegel to this like blocky, sometimes just disfigured is the best way I can describe it. Facial work or body work. Uh, there's moments in here where Wonder Woman looks haggard. Um, I've I'm having trouble connecting with the the story from where it's been going, plus where the art has kind of been taken now that we're not getting as much Kegel. I don't know what happened. I don't know where the direction's gone, but yeah, this has been rough to end. And not that I was particularly high on the series, but definitely not the way that I want to feel like Rom B and Evan Kegel's story is fizzling out.
I feel like I'm seeing the behind the scenes a bit here. It's kind of leaking onto the page, like, because it felt like the first half of this run had a clear creative point to it. It was like, hey, I'm gonna get Rom. Rom's gonna get all his friends that he did other works with that did great work, and they're gonna go on and off with Evan Kegel on the story. And then for this one, it's shifting to what was the name? I don't have it open right now. It's Simon Parr. He
Mhm.
also did the previous issue, so that already broke the chain of what the creative vision was for the previous issues of the book. And like, I think if it was for like one issue, it was the Green Lantern issue, right? The Green Lantern of New Genesis. He showed up
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It was fine for that, but also, like, I just feel like, all right, we're rushing, and now we have to get him on everything to keep it going. Um, there's like some faces that are a little weird too. Like there's that one with Mr. Miracle, and he's given this
Mm.
grimace. I have it up on the screen where it looks like Squidward put on the mask.
Oh, Mr. Miracle here.
Yeah. But hey, I just realized Dennis Cowan's on art for next issue. So hold on, I might be wrong.
Yeah, I enjoyed this issue more than the last one because the last one felt extremely rushed and it had that weird shift. Whereas this one was a little smoother on the pace element, but the art is just intolerable for me. I'm not saying that Parr is bad. I don't think that Simon Parr's
No.
art style is bad. I just don't think that it meshes at all with the tone
Yep.
of this book. If this was a more light-hearted book, I think that Parr would be fine. But this book is supposed to feel like in my mind, a sci-fi epic. That's what it felt like before. That's what Evan Kegel's been giving this whole time. And all the other guest artists that they had were not villains. They had a reason to be a part of this that was additive and fed into what this book is supposed to feel like. Whereas this just feels like guest artist stuff. Like, who can we get now?
It feels like Nick Darrington on Bendis's Batman, like this lighthearted, goofy romp through the DC universe. And like even the next issue being Dennis Cowan, like that feels wildly different than this. Where these 2 issues or these 2 half issues are going to stick out like a sore thumb when you look at the series as a whole.
I just don't understand. Like, I would love for Rom to be like, was this always the plan? Because this doesn't feel like
Yeah.
the book's trajectory. 6 issues ago, it felt very different than it does now.
It
It-
felt huge.
And
It,
based
There
on
you go.
Rom's tweets, that's kind of where I feel too. Like he pretty much said like this after this, he's gonna be leaving superheroes for a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if something happened behind the scenes. I don't know if he just started checking out because he realized he wanted to tell his other stories elsewhere. I don't know, but I'm starting to see the creation of the book rather than the book. And it's clouding my enjoyment of the book. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, he said that he's bored with superheroes.
Yeah.
And he said that we will get more new gods potentially, but that it won't be soon because he's where he's at. So fine, but did anything change from A to Z with new gods? That's what I want to know. I do not feel like this is the book that I was told we'd be getting.
I think the most that's happened is the new gods are on Earth, and what's the consequence?
Well, and then New Genesis and got completely taken over, so that's a big thing, even on a
Oh.
grander DC scale.
Yeah, and I guess we're going to war with the Niktari, but from that end, is it New Gods versus that? Is it New Gods plus Justice League seemingly against that? Are we defending like is there going to be a larger calamity because of this? This feels like I would expect an event happening. Holy shit, this is Invasion, right? Is Invasion 2.0. Like but what's going on there? It's going to be kept to the side of the DC universe because this was also meant to be connected to the grander scheme of things. Like it was meant to be the book that you're supposed to be following, and now it feels like a book that we're brushing off to the side because knockouts happening.
I think you just got by good marketing is all.
Well,
I mean, it came out of Rom's mouth. I don't think it's fair to say that he got because that's what we were told.
Yeah, maybe things changed. Plans change, the old wrestling saying.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Very,
I-
very strange.
All that being said, I still really enjoyed this book. It's probably one of my favorite DC books coming out right now. And had I known there was an Ian Bertram variant to this, I might have picked it up when I was at the shop.
ooh,
Marco's Ian Bertram doing Barda.
ooh.
Oh, he's got to change his pants after this episode. God damn.
Yeah, I heard Yasmin Putri did one too, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed this issue enough, but the art to me is just a complete mismatch. And I gotta tell you the truth, I don't actually care that much about the resolution of this or where it's going. Because to me, it lost steam a long time ago. So I'm a pass.
I've never been on the Nektari ship here, man. I feel like I've always felt like the odd person out for not loving the book as much as everyone else has. This is a pass.
Well, don't get it twisted, Marco. You are a little odd.
Sure, but
Sure. But yeah. But I don't think you should feel because of your opinion on this. It's a pull for me. I still enjoyed it.
All right. Is the audience reading it? Let's see. You guys are, well, 47% of you didn't buy it, didn't read it. Pull is 41%. Pick of the week is 12%. Nobody passed. So that's a good thing.
It's a
Oh,
decent
okay.
pick of the week rate too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you
Is
guys
that
are
the highest today?
Wow.
I think maybe Deadpool Batman. Maybe I can go back up here. Let's see. That's fantastic. Or maybe I can't go that far. Sorry.
Yeah, neither can I. But either way, a little bit surprising. Hey, did you guys check out our interview that we did just yesterday? In fact, we were lucky enough to be joined by the man, Dan Waters.
Yeah.
So run those numbers up, listen to our conversation with Dan. We got an hour with him.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll get some more time with him soon. Maybe at a convention. Who knows?
Oh, apparently local.
Crazy, right? You never
Yeah.
know these days.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. New York, baby. MX
Talking
Mothman
to-
says, Batman and Robin, your one number 11 is my pick of the week. That's going to be my my little night book, I think. I might go read that before bed.
Austin, can you remind me what the difference is between pass and didn't buy or read? So it's all personal, but in my mind, what I'm thinking about when I read that is pass is you read it and you didn't like it. Didn't buy or read means you either didn't buy it or you bought it but didn't read it yet. So if you read the book, the only things you should be choosing are pull, pick of the week, and pass. If you didn't read it for whatever reason, didn't buy or read is what you should click on.
Yep.
So let's get the numbers in for Sean's stack. Tyler alluded to the fact before we went live that I had a pretty hefty stack next to me. Now, based on what we've been talking about, that 3 of those books are the same book and they're 64 pages. So that's making my stack maybe look a little bit more hefty than usual. But I do want to know what you guys are thinking.
Sean, can we do a little ASMR? I don't know if your mic will pick it up. Can you like drop it near the mic without showing it? Can we see how much of a thud you get?
Ooh. See the camera shake.
Oh,
Dude.
He just whipped that thing and put it down there.
Earthquake,
yeah, I don't
bro.
know if that's a good. I don't know if that's a good example. But
was that the comics? Please tell me it was the comics.
It was the comics.
Okay.
It was the comics.
Right.
Yo, his camera, his world shook.
Damn.
Yeah, right. I read Absolute Flash. I'm just gonna say that I haven't been buying this book because I got tired of it. It's the first Absolute book that I dropped, and I read it because it won the poll. So all I'm gonna say is that I made the right decision not continuing on with this book. It's just not for me.
I feel like it's been the softest of all of the books.
He's a
all the
soft
Absolute
boy.
books.
He's a soft boy.
Guess
it's just lame. It's just lame. And I didn't hate this issue. I thought there was some decent stuff in here, but I just don't give a shit. Like there's just nothing interesting about it to me at all. It feels like it's the only one of them that's not making me think anything differently about the character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking more differently about Grodd. Like I'm more interested in everybody other than the Absolute Flash. So I would have passed if we were reviewing it officially. I'm passing on it unofficially. So Entertain Me, they count as 3 separate buys.
Tyler, in other news, let's see if this works. You've convinced me to start reading Poison Ivy.
Good, because it's the closest you're gonna get to Swamp Thing in this year.
I know that's
sexy Swamp Thing, Marco.
Dude, you don't have to sell me on it. I downloaded the books already.
On Infinite? Is that where you're reading them? Was that
yeah,
Infinite?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I still gotta log into fucking
Dude, yeah. I made my own little I made our own I mean, we all use separate accounts, but I made my own kind of playlist, I think is a better word, or poll list. So you can if you guys have your own accounts, you can go put them on there.
Yeah, you can follow series too,
Yep.
so like they just like kind of stack up over time. You can read them, binge them.
Maybe I finally read All Star Superman. Who knows?
Oh, it's right there, man.
The third way of me owning it.
Yeah, why would you read it digitally when on Infinite, no less, when you could read a glorious physical copy that you already own?
Like the compact that I own.
Exactly.
I think that's somewhere in a performative tote bag somewhere.
Cole says, damn, 6 and 7 have been my favorite issues so far. Rogues are stealing the book more than Wally. Yeah, I mean, I don't give a shit about the Rogues, but like taking your point at face value, I don't think that should be the case, right? Like, shouldn't the main character steal the show?
6, 7, huh? Damn.
All right, let's get into the numbers.
Marco, you want to list these out?
Alrighty, let's start up. We got Near with 18, Hayden's Hideout 22, Austin 19, James Jones 20, Steve Canaris 23, Aaron Ruiz with no faith at 30, Cole 17, AZ's issue 16, MX Mothman 24, Lucas the Heatwave 23, Jack Cloutier 21, Jasper Eddy 25, Jamzilla 23, Hayden's Hideout 15 for Marco's Mound and 20 for Tyler's Tower. Entertain Me with 24, Ted H 33, another one with no faith. Luna at 18, Joseph Wolf 19, and Sean Ali getting it in right at the end, 21.
Well, I know the winning number.
Oh, Ted H.
I know the winning number. And it definitely, yeah, you guys definitely nailed it. Some of you did anyway. So, talked about Absolute Flash, Incredible Hulk, number 29, G.I. Joe, number 11, No Man's Land, number 1. This Ends Tonight, number 3. I still haven't read number 1, so I need to read it or stop buying this. But these covers,
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
I'm having a hard time with these
Sean,
covers, man.
Are you a fan of just bright yellow backgrounds with the characters in the front ever since Batman and Robin?
Yeah, I guess so. Huh.
It jumps out to me every time I see it. It's that particular kind of like goldenrod yellow. Striking. I love it.
I never thought about that, but I'll tell you, I almost didn't grab this, and then I saw the cover, and I mean, I guess yellow was a part of why I bought it.
Sure.
But there are some other things on this cover that.
Other things.
Hey.
All right. Well, you got some plot and backstory there.
There you go. Voyeur number 1. I was very excited to grab this. This
Double
is the
whammy.
second, yeah. This is the second book from Ignition Press.
Yeah.
And yeah, they gave these out for free. Actually, these Murder Podcast Protective earplugs. These are for the Murder Podcast book that dropped last week. But they're earplugs, and you put them on, and they protect you from death. So
I couldn't find Voyeur at my shop. Sean, can I watch you read the book?
That's wild.
Sorry,
No,
I'd like to watch.
you're a voyeur. I see.
Mm-hmm.
They Choose Violence, number 4. Ultimate Black Panther, 20. Exquisite Corpses, 5.
Yeah.
Nightwing, number 130. TMNT Casey Jones, number 1.
Nice. Now it's back to Dow.
Yeah. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, number 38. Batman and Robin, Year 1, number 11. And all the books that we talked about on the show, including my 3 Deadpool Batman variant covers for a grand total of 21.
21?
Oh, shit. 21. Who got it?
Multiple people.
Sean Ali got
James.
it.
Jack Cloutier. On the nose.
Yeah.
And Sean Ali.
Sick.
Sean Ali.
Good to see you, Jack. I feel like I haven't seen Jack in a little bit. If you guys are on the Discord and you want any of the codes for the Marvel books that I read this week, feel free to reach out and I will happily send it to you. I am not stingy with these. I don't use them, so they literally don't get used if you guys don't hit me up. Coming out with us on Saturday, we should be joined by Gavin Guidry.
Ooh.
So that's always fun. And we're going to do hijinks, and we're going to have a great time as always, 10:15 a.m. Eastern. We would love to see you. If you don't watch this show live, it is at 8 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. Make some time in your life for your pals.
Yeah.
We'd love getting to hang out with you during the week. And the last thing I want to say is every weekday, the pals are with you in some form or fashion. Whether it's Mondays with pals previews, Tuesdays we're dropping videos, Wednesdays we're dropping videos. We're always doing an interview, dropping a video, or going live. So check for us all month long. It's been an incredible September. Let's finish super strong. See you guys